All right. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners for April 27th, 2021. Can I get the roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Braun,
Yeah.
Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Warning.
Here.
Okay, let the record show that you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Will you rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, will you bow your heads with me for a brief prayer? Father God, I come to you tonight on behalf of our town, Lord. I ask that you watch over our citizens and our elected body, Lord, and their families. I ask that you watch over all those watching this meeting this evening and that are here in attendance. Please be with us as we leave this evening. Please watch over our fire and EMS, as well as our military serving here and overseas. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, first on the agenda is a closed meeting. We did have an executive session on April 13th. Town Administrator, do you have that?
Can you give me 1 second to pull it up? I'm still having some difficulties here. Give me 1 second. Can we come back to that in a later part of the meeting?
Absolutely, we can. Do you want to do a brief overview, Town Administrator, of what they are seeing and how our format has changed from the Zoom meetings really quickly?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you confirm that the town agenda is shared on the screen up there?
Yes.
Yes, it is. I can confirm.
Good. So what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is as we move closer to trying to get things back to normal, the elected body is meeting in live, and we also have our videographer that we used previous to the pandemic, who's recording our meetings, but we're still not able to let the public in at the meeting, so we are still using Zoom. So we have the Zoom link up for people to watch the meeting live. The elected body can see the folks in the gallery, I guess, so to speak. So the elected body will be able to interact with the residents during citizen comment. If you have a question, if you raise your hand, just bear with us a little bit. There's a lot of moving parts. Speak up if we miss if you want a question, and we'll bring you up on the screen upstairs so the elected body can see you and you can interact with the elected body. That's it, Matt.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Moving forward into business meeting items. Shortly before the COVID-19 pandemic started, we ended up losing a commissioner. Commissioner Alan Auchenreith left us and moved to the state of Delaware. And we are without a commissioner and have an open seat. The board and myself have had many discussions about who would best fit that spot. As the COVID-19 pandemic continued to go on, we were not meeting in person. We were meeting through a Zoom format. We proceeded with town business, just having an open seat on our board. A few weeks ago, we learned of the interest of a former commissioner who was on our board previously. This is someone who can hit the ground running, that knows the format of our town meetings, has been involved in town business in the past, is a resident of our town, and is very involved in our community. With that said, I am formally putting the name of Joe Shepard forward to serve the open spot of what was Commissioner Alan Auchenreith's seat. Can I get a motion for Joe Shepard?
I move that we appoint Joe Shepard to the Town Board of Commissioners.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Only discussion. Thank you, Joe, for your interest, and to everyone else who did put it in interest for wanting to serve on our town board. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next is the department. Commissioner Joe Shepard will be serving in our Streets and Sidewalks Department. Can I get a motion to approve that appointment?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion regarding that appointment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will now, I will now vacate the area so that Commissioner Joe Shepard can be sworn in formally by the Cecil County Clerk of the Circuit Court. We want to thank her so much for coming out to the town of Rising Sun today. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot to the side and let that move forward. That's your call. I just need to scoot the chair over. Yeah, behind the table's good.
Is this good, or you want me to get
Yeah,
on the other
just scoot
side?
over towards all.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me, so.
Sorry.
You guys could flip flop so I see his.
Sure.
and-
Sure, absolutely.
Do you want to be Joe or Joseph? Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Shepard, do swear or affirm
Joseph Shepard, do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of Town Commissioner
execute the office of Town Commissioner
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of the state.
and laws of this state.
Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming out.
You're very welcome.
Swearing
Thank you.
in. We really appreciate it.
Here.
Mayor,
Looks like it was handmade today.
I'm introducing how to close executive session.
Absolutely. Town Administrator, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay, on Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, at 6:30 PM, the mayor and commissioners met in an executive session. A motion to open the meeting was made by Commissioner Warnick, seconded by Commissioner Pearson, and the meeting was opened at 6:30. All members of the elected body were present. The motion to open the meeting was passed 3-0. A motion to hold an executive session was made by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Warnick. That motion passed 3-0. The purpose for the meeting, in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, number 7, was to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. The persons other than the elected body at the meeting were the town attorney, Jay Gallo, and Calvin A. Bonneberger Jr., the town administrator. There were no action items taken at this meeting, but there was a motion put forth by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Warnick, to seal the minutes of the meeting. That motion passed 3-0. A motion was made by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Warnick, to leave executive session. That motion passed 3-0. A motion was put forth by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Warnick, to adjourn the meeting, and the meeting was adjourned. That vote was 3-0, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:55 PM. And that concludes the closed executive report.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Moving forward into citizens' input. Would anyone like to speak this evening? All right. Hearing no one, moving into staff reports. Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Commissioners. The Tiger Trot was held back on the 17th. And that day was a very difficult day for the police department because there were multiple events at the same time. And we wanted to get all the participants through town in the roadway as safe as possible. We were able to do that. with the help of the fire police. And it's not just the fire police from Rising Sun, it's fire police from all across the county that came together to help us with the event. And we were able to get it done quickly and without problems. So I'd like to thank the fire police from throughout Cecil County who assisted us in that event. Second, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Shepard back to the board. I look forward to working with him again. And I know Commissioner Shepard well, and I hope we can move forward with getting a lot of good things done in the town. And lastly, the Sunfest is on June 5th. Be prepared for detours, road closures, and something similar to the Tiger Trot. We'll try to get through it quickly without impeding, anyone's movement throughout the town. But there will be some road closures during that day for the event. And with that being said, that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief. Town Administrator.
Yeah, I just have a couple quick items for you. From a building and land development standpoint, I've met with 3 different property owners that are looking to put additions on their homes. As we've sort of been reporting, the momentum is clearly changing in the town of Rising Sun with the type of projects that people are finding themselves in a position to be able to undertake. And I always tell people, as a building inspector, sometimes I think I get just as excited about what our residents are able to do with their homes as they are. I love seeing it go through the process, and to some homeowners, what starts out is a space that they really can't visualize, when all the 2x4s are put up, to slowly watching them realize that this is what they wanted and how it's going to benefit them. It's pretty special to be a part of that. So I'm excited about the momentum that some of our property owners are seeing and being able to make investments in their home. So that's a pretty cool thing. From a paving standpoint, we are still in the process of securing pricing for paving. We've hit a couple sticking points in terms of the cost associated with it, but we will get that resolved. Hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have a resolution for the elected body to be able to ratify for the paving. Speaking of paving, we recently did Wilson Avenue heading down to Veterans Park, and it looks fantastic, but we are aware of a short little area by Douglas Court that is degrading, is the official term in road paving. It is degrading in that area, but we've been keeping an eye on it, and we believe that it's just an isolated situation there. Maybe, the blacktop that was applied there sat on the truck a little bit too long, or maybe the water line underneath, it had spawned a little bit of a leak and did some things to the pavement, but we don't think it's gonna get any worse than it is, or it was. And so we're gonna have our public works crews go down there in about another week or two and take care of that patching there at Douglas Court. And we also have arranged with the gentleman who does our line striping to get out there and paint the yellow lines on Wilson Avenue. And we're also, you might recall, we're also installing a crosswalk at the bottom of Wilson Avenue where it leads into the park. We're gonna have a designated crosswalk in that area. Other than that, concludes my report.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Town Treasurer, do you have a report this evening?
I do. Welcome, Joe. I share Chief Peterson's welcome to you. It's good to have you as part of the board. I wanted to start by saying that we're really accomplishing a lot with our objectives to become a digital environment so that we can service our residents no matter what the situation that we're facing, whether it be weather or health or public health. But we were excited to see that our electronic payments and electronic bills are now running about 50% of our transactions, we started with maybe 10%, so we've been really working with the residents to help educate and train and share that they can do most everything for themselves now on our customer service portal. And we've handled 314 calls this month. We serviced 920 meters with Public Works with work orders and keeping that system going. Operationally, we're very solid. We have not in any of the funds had to go to our rainy day funds to have a very positive operation. Our revenue that we have is solid. We're not seeing any major impact at this time from COVID restrictions. We have a difference of about $30,000 in revenue in general fund for this past month. And then when you look at our actual expenses, we're running about $142,000 a month in general fund expenses. We do have, if you look at the $439,000 that we have at bottom line right now, the next 3 months will take that. But once again, we run a tight budget, but we've also made some improvements that has allowed us to stay positive and not have to go to the rainy day funds during this time. With water and sewer, very positive things are happening there as well. If you look at our delinquency that's over 60 days, we are now running about 10%, which we were running about 15%. So improvements in those areas. We are back to operations as usual. We are having some penalties and shutoffs. I just want everyone to be aware that we will be doing shutoffs now on a monthly basis based on a resolution from the board about 3 or 4 months ago. So looking at the water fund, once again, we had looked at the possibility of having to go to that fund for like $350,000, which we have not had to do. We're very positive in the operation, and we're going to end the year really solid in water. Great news with the sewer fund as well. We had budgeted to go to rainy day funds potentially for $280,000. We haven't had to do that. And we are running positive of $20.15, which is great. That's a very solid performance from the sewer department. That is really, that's the highlights of how we're operating right now. If there's any questions at all from anyone, I'd be glad to talk with you about those. If no questions, then I'm good.
Thank you, Judy. Moving into the mayor's report. We had a lot of things going on this past weekend. We had our board made an appearance, and luckily Commissioner Shepard was also able to be there as well for Little League opening day. He then joined us along with the board at the opening of yet another business on our Main Street. Be Free Boutique has opened at 12 East Main Street, and we're really excited to have them as part of our downtown revitalization. Yet another building that was filled after 12 to 15 years of being vacant. Lots of exciting things going on Main Street. A lot of folks came out this past Saturday for Spring Fling. The businesses from the Art Den to Bog Turtle Brewery to Rising Sun Nutrition to or Queen Street Nutrition to Rise and Grind Coffee. They were all extremely busy this past weekend. I also wanted to give a shout out to the Harford County Executive, Barry Glassman. He came to the Rising Sun Tiger Trot, Rising Sun Middle School Tiger Trot, so we were really excited to see him there. This was his first 5K of the year, where he has officially kicked off his campaign running for the Republican nomination for comptroller. A brief COVID update. We continue to have conversations with the Cecil County Health Department. And I can't say it enough, if you are able and willing, please get the vaccine. They are seeing a high level of coverage, according to her, in the 65 plus age bracket. Unfortunately, here in Rising Sun, we're seeing a significant increase in the 20 to 29-year-old bracket. Those folks are almost up to 23% infected with COVID-19. They are also representing the most unwilling to get the vaccine at this time. But I can't say it enough. I have, the board has, and have had their vaccine. I know some members of our staff have. it's extremely important. So if you can and are willing, please get the vaccine. That is the end of my report this evening. Commissioner Braun, do you have anything?
I have no report.
Commissioner Pearson?
I have a couple of things. First of
Okay.
all, last week in Baltimore, they had a house fire, and I'm quoting from the firefighters that were there. Fire sprinklers knocked down the fire. This was a two-story dwelling, and the fire was contained by the sprinklers, which goes back to what we've been trying to say with our ordinance, that they do make a difference. So there's a classic example in a city where it worked. My second thing is, and this kind of goes really in Dave's Parks and Recreation area, we do a great job in trying to keep our parks up to date. But I have to remind the people, they are natural preserves. If you see snakes, if you see raccoons, if you see foxes, this is their natural habitat. Please do not disrupt them. And also, if you see a box turtle, leave it alone. I just found out within the last week that box turtles only circulate within 1 mile of where they were born. Outside of that, they actually die a slow death. So if you see box turtles, leave them alone. If you see snakes, avoid them. Please, we're doing our best, but we need your help. Thank you. That's all the rest of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Pearson. Commissioner Warnick?
I have no report.
Commissioner Shepard?
I don't have anything for tonight.
All right.
The only thing I'll say is welcome aboard, Commissioner Shepard. We look forward to working with you.
Yes. All right, upcoming town meetings. We have one on May the 11th. We have another one on May 25th, and then June 8th. Upcoming events, Sunfest will be June 5th, and that's from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. Upcoming holidays, Town Hall will be closed on Memorial Day, which is May 31st. You can see the trash and recycling and yard waste schedule on there, as well as online. Is there any more business to come before the board this evening? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I
So
make a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.